Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the bow hold. So before we start, some materials that we're going to need is obviously our bow, and then a pencil. We can leave our instruments to the side as we will not be using them right now. So the first thing I would like to discuss is the parts of the bow. So here we have our stick, we have our tip over here, obviously bow hair, and then over here we're going to be talking a lot about these parts. This here is the frog, this is our adjusting screw, this is the grip, this is the ferrule. Yeah, the most important parts for this are to remember are going to be the frog, the bow grip, the stick, and the adjusting screw. So before we actually start with this, something that some people like to do is to practice a bow hold with a pencil. So just holding your arm out straight and keeping the natural curve of your hand. Pick up the pencil and notice the spacing between your fingers and how curved they are. After you do that a couple of times, you can just place it on a table and pick it up and see what it looks like and feels like naturally. Then we can grab our bow. With our left hand, we can hold the stick. If we're teaching students, we want to make sure that they're not touching the bow hair. So holding the stick with the tips of our fingers, we can then start to place our hand on the bow. So the bow hold that I'm going to be talking about right now is not the student one where our thumb is at the bottom. That could be a separate video, but this is going to be with our thumb in between the stick and the frog, which is right here. It's important to know those parts because our thumb has to go in between the stick and the frog, and it needs to be curved like this. So once you've placed that, you can put these two fingers across the frog. Make sure you're feeling not tight, but that you have a nice grip. And then your index finger and pinky are going to be curved. Also, make sure at this point that you check that your thumb is still bent. And there you go. There's your bow hold. Another thing that might be helpful in getting used to this bow hold, because it's not this easy for everyone who's just starting off, is to do spider crawls. So that looks like going like this with your fingers, like if you're like if your hand was a spider going across the bow. I think it might be harder to do it this way, so if you want to rotate it to have the bow vertically, you can do it that way. So your fingers are going like this, you're going up, and then back up. This is a little bit more challenging, but this kind of strengthens your fingers, and it'll get you used to playing with a nice bow hold. Yeah. Another one that people like to do is like a bow whip. So if you take off your index finger from the bow hold and you like whip your bow using the strength of your hand right here, like the outside part, like your pinky, and you hear a whipping sound, not like that, something like that, it's also helpful long term. Cool. So just to recap, parts of the bow and then the bow grip itself. The parts of the bow that are important to remember for your bow hold are the stick, hair, tip, maybe not so much, the frog, adjusting screw, ferrule, and the space in between the stick and the frog on your side. Now for the bow hold, again, we're going to set it up this way, where we first place our thumb. Make sure it's curved, so you might want to do this motion in between the frog and the stick. And then these two fingers, your middle finger and ring finger, are going to go around the frog and bow stick, not tight, but still holding the bow nicely. And then just tap your index finger near the bow grip, and then have a nice bent pinky, bent thumb, and there you go. You're all set. And then if you wanted to go the extra step without just isolating this, you can then bring your instrument and just bow once you have a nice bow hold. the bow hold.